Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna make gluten-free vegan chicken tenders. Alright, so we're gonna start by soaking up our TVP with some vegetarian, but it's vegan, chicken bouillon or broth. You can also use vegetable broth if you want, but I'm using this one and it is vegan. So I'm using 1 3/4 cups of vegan chicken broth for 1.5 cups of TVP. And if you're not familiar with TVP, it's textured vegetable protein. So I'm going to let that soak for about 5 minutes, stirring once in a while. So now I'm gonna cook the TVP. I'm not using any oil to keep the recipe oil-free, but you're more than welcome to use some oil. I'm monitoring the heat closely just to make sure the TVP doesn't burn. You're not looking for any browning or anything like that, just want to cook off some of the liquid. So now we're going to add the spices. I'm doing 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of ground mustard, half a teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of poultry seasoning, and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Alright, so now that it has cooked for about 5 minutes and that I've added the spices and seasonings, now I'm just going to transfer it to a bowl to cool down and set it aside for now. Alright, so for this recipe, I'm using the vegan egg from Follow Your Heart. The company is called Earth Island in Canada. So I'm using that, but you could also use aquafaba. You could use a plant milk with some apple cider vinegar and make buttermilk. But I'm just using the vegan egg. So I'm using 4 tablespoons of the vegan egg powder, and I'm adding 1 cup of water plus 2 tablespoons. So I'm just gonna whisk that together, and in retrospect, I should have used a bigger bowl. This is stressing me out. Alright, we made it. I didn't spill too much. This all worked out, and I didn't have to wash 1 more bowl. Laziness level 500. Leave a comment down below if you can relate to this. Okay, so back to our TVP mixture. It's now cooled enough to be handled, so I'm just gonna add half a cup of chickpea flour, also known as garbanzo bean flour. Alright, to set up the dredging station, you're gonna need your TVP mixture, you're gonna need your vegan egg, you're gonna need 1.5 cups or maybe less of panko. I'm using gluten-free panko. So you're gonna form the chicken tenders with your hands. Then you're gonna dip each tender 1 by 1 in the vegan egg. Shake off the excess. Then with your other hand, so the dry hand, you're gonna cover the tender with the panko and then place on the lined baking sheet. So just keep repeating that process. I made about 18 nuggets, so just keep repeating that process for 18 times. You place them on a baking sheet. And you bake them at 425 for 20 minutes, flipping halfway. So back into the oven for another 10 minutes, so it's 20 minutes of cooking time in total. So this is what they look like once they're done cooking. I didn't spray them with any oil to keep the recipe oil-free, but definitely if you spray them with oil, they would be a bit more golden brown. I also used gluten-free panko, so maybe if you use regular panko, they would be a bit more browned. I tried deep frying them. They definitely look a bit more brown and golden, but the texture was a bit disappointing. I prefer the baked ones for sure. So there you have it. I like to serve these with my favorite Big Mac sauce recipe. It's on the channel, you can look it up. It's vegan, of course. And this recipe is also freezer friendly, so you can freeze the tenders for up to 3 months. There you go. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. I will see you in the next video. Bye!